She cheated on me through Bluetooth. He drank my whiskey in my house. And me, I walked out with the eggs. Want to know how I turned betrayal into a masterpiece of revenge? How I took his car, his job, and her dignity and still came out on top? This isn't a sob story. This is a story about a man who became the nightmare they never saw coming. Buckle up. It's gonna be glorious. People talk about love at first sight like it's some magical bolt from the heavens. Me? I was just trying not to get sunburned and keep the damn seagulls from stealing my sandwich. It was Myrtle Beach, 3 years back, and I was stretched out on a $7 Walmart towel, debating if I could survive another hour without reapplying SPF 50, when I saw her, Jessica. She was jogging by the water, the kind of run that says, I could outpace your emotional availability and not break a sweat. She had a kind of confidence that made you sit up straighter, suck in your gut, and seriously reconsider your life decisions. Long brown hair, tan skin, and that look in her eyes, like she knew you were watching and didn't care, but was still flattered. Naturally, I choked on my Gatorade. Now, I'm not one of those guys who just walks up to women. I'm more the type who silently panics and pretends he's deep into a podcast while waiting for fate to trip her into me. But for some reason, that day, with the salt air in my lungs and Cool Ranch Dorito dust on my fingers, I stood up and said something wildly poetic like, "Hey, you run a lot?" She smirked. "Only when I'm about to be hit on." Married her 13 months later. Yeah, fast, I know. But when it works, it works. Or so I thought. At first, things were good. No, great. We had that kind of newlywed spark, where even arguing about which Netflix show to binge felt like foreplay. We cooked together, laughed about stupid inside jokes, and had a running gag about the weird guy who lived across the hall with 5 cats and 1 pair of pants. But then came year 3, the year of the great nagging. At first, it was subtle, a little jab here, a passive-aggressive sigh there. Then one day, as I was bringing home takeout after a 12-hour shift, she greeted me at the door with, "You know, maybe if you made as much money as my sister's husband, we wouldn't be eating Thai food again." Now listen, I'm not saying I'm Elon Musk, but I wasn't exactly flipping burgers in a parking lot either. I work in IT, which means I fix printers, explain what the cloud is, and quietly judge people for using password 123. Her tone changed like a weather app you can't trust. 1 minute sunshine and praise, the next she's throwing shade like a palm tree in a hurricane. I started noticing patterns. Late-night texts, suddenly dressing up for errands, putting her phone face down like it had something to hide. At first, I thought I was being paranoid. Then came the real kick in the gut. She started accusing me of cheating. "Why are you home late?" she asked one night, as if her Pilates class hadn't mysteriously turned into 3-hour wine sessions. I said, "Because I work, Jessica. That's how rent gets paid. That, and you're still on my health insurance." The truth started to dawn on me slowly, like a hangover. That gut feeling, the one you ignore because you're still in love with the person they used to be, it was screaming at me, and I finally listened. I started doing what any reasonable man would do when he suspects betrayal. I got quiet, observant, started playing dumb like it was my superpower. Every girls' night became a case file. Every "don't wait up" became suspicious. I stopped confronting and started collecting evidence, like a broke Sherlock Holmes with a Costco receipt. But that's for later. Right now, let's go back to that shoreline where it all began. To the girl who smiled at me like I was something special, and eventually treated me like I was something disposable. Funny how the ocean gives and takes, huh? You ever catch someone lying and decide, "Nah, I'm not gonna call them out right now. I'm gonna wait till the perfect moment and enjoy this like a slow-roasted brisket"? Yeah, that was me. See, the confrontation didn't come in a blaze of fury. It came on a Sunday morning, over breakfast and Bluetooth speakers. Let me set the stage. Jessica, my beautiful, allegedly faithful wife, was in the kitchen, pretending to cook eggs like she hadn't just spent the night texting Travis, kiss, at 1:45 a.m. How do I know? Because she made the mistake of syncing her phone to our kitchen Bluetooth speaker last week and forgot to unsync it. Let me repeat that. She synced her phone to the kitchen speaker, then forgot. So while she's busy flipping eggs like a Gordon Ramsay understudy, I'm sitting at the table scrolling through my phone, pretending not to hear her phone buzz. One buzz, two buzzes, then can't stop thinking about last night. Sweet. Through the speaker, out loud, in full surround sound. I stared at the scrambled eggs like they had just declared war. Jessica froze, spatula in hand, like a guilty cat caught on the kitchen counter. You could see her brain buffering. She turned slowly, and I kid you not, she said, "That was spam. Spam. Spam." I leaned back in my chair, nodding like an old Southern pastor. They're getting awfully flirty these days. No, seriously, I've been getting these weird texts lately. Probably a scammer. I tapped the speaker. "Siri, read last message." Siri, ever the loyal snitch, responded, "From Travis, last night at 2:13 a.m., wish I could wake up next to you every morning, babe." Jessica lunged for the speaker like it owed her money. I raised my mug. Cheers to loyalty and eggs. Now, you might think this is where I flipped the table and yelled dramatic things like, "How could you?" or "Travis, really? That's such a douchebag name." Nope, I took a different route. I looked at her calmly and said, "Tell Travis I hope he likes his eggs overcooked and underseasoned. He's in for a long, bland ride." Jessica tried to recover. "It's not what you think." Is it not? Because what I think is that while I was out fixing the internet for people who still use AOL, you were busy giving Travis the Wi-Fi password to your heart. She tried to stutter out something, probably an apology or a lie, or some Frankenstein hybrid of both. But I stood up, calmly walked over to the stove, took the pan off the heat, and said, "I'm taking the eggs. You don't deserve them." And I walked out. With the eggs. She stood there, flabbergasted. Not because I left, not because she got caught, but because I took the damn eggs. That was the start of the unraveling, but trust me, it only got weirder from there. Because you'd think after being caught red-handed, or red Bluetoothed, she'd come clean. Nope. Jessica decided to double down and invite Travis over. After the Bluetooth breakfast bombshell, you'd think most people would lay low, maybe fake a stomach bug or run off to visit Grandma for a while. Not Jessica. She decided to go full soap opera villain. 2 days later, I come home from work, tired, hungry, and still mentally replaying that moment Siri basically body-slammed my marriage, and there he is. Travis. On my couch. Shoes off. Drinking my whiskey. From my favorite glass. Let me pause here to say something about Travis. He was exactly the kind of guy you'd expect to steal another man's wife and then eat the last slice of pizza without asking. Tight shirt, waxed eyebrows, the kind of jawline that says, "I peek in group photos." Looked like the human version of, Jessica greets me with this smug, arms-crossed stance like I'm the one who's interrupting her evening. "Oh, you're home early." "Yeah, because I live here, Jessica." And Travis? This man actually stands up, smiles, and sticks out his hand. Yo, I'm Travis. Heard a lot about you, bro. Bro? This man just broed me. I didn't shake it. I looked at his hand like it was a dead bird and said, Travis, huh? Must have taken real courage to sit your discount cologne-wearing ass on another man's couch. He chuckled. Jessica jumped in. We just wanted to talk, be adults. Ah, yes, adultery now comes with coffee and civil discussion. Neat. I said nothing. Just walked over to the cabinet, pulled out the backup whiskey, the good one, and poured myself a drink like I was about to narrate my own documentary. And this is the moment Greg fully snapped. Then I asked, real calm-like, So, Travis, what's the plan here? You moving in? Want me to help carry your Axe body spray upstairs? Jessica huffed. Stop being dramatic. Dramatic? I laughed. Jessica, I caught your little 50 Shades of Dumbass text parade on Bluetooth. You tried to convince me it was spam. And now I walk in and find this dollar store Aquaman in my house? Travis put his drink down. Hey man, look. No, you shut up now, I said, stepping closer. You had your moment. You blew it when you crossed the threshold. This is my house, my rules, and rule number 1, homewreckers don't get ice cubes. Jessica started yelling about boundaries and closure and some other nonsense she probably read off a self-help Instagram page, but I was done. I turned to Travis and said, I'm going to give you 60 seconds to get out. Not because I'm angry, but because I have a very detailed knowledge of where every sharp object is in this house. His smile finally dropped. Okay, chill, I'll go. He walked toward the door, muttering something under his breath. I didn't catch it. I didn't need to. The door slammed. I turned to Jessica. She was crying now. Classic. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Oh, really? You accidentally texted him 38 times? You accidentally invited him over for a discussion and served him my whiskey in my glass while I was out keeping this roof over our heads? She stared at the floor. You never made me feel wanted. That line. The classic. And I said the realest thing I've ever said in my life. You don't feel wanted? Then maybe stop offering yourself to anyone who says nice leggings in a parking lot. That's when she threw the glass. And I just stood there, cool as ice. Missed, I said, just like your sense of loyalty. Then I walked past her, picked up my gym bag, and headed for the door. Where are you going? She yelled. To the one place you never could, I said, work. So, after I left Jessica and Travis playing house like two clowns on a sinking ship, I didn't just sit around licking wounds. I planned. See, revenge is like grilling a steak. You don't rush it. You season it. You marinate it in humiliation and serve it sizzling, medium rare, with a side of poetic justice. And lucky for me, Jessica had handed me the tools. Because remember, this genius brought Travis into my house. She had no idea that while he was sipping my whiskey, I was swiping his wallet off the coffee table. Yep, the moron left it sitting right there. And while I didn't steal a damn cent, I did take photos of his ID and his business card. Turns out Travis worked at a local car dealership, the kind that prides itself on being family-oriented. Ironic, considering he was out here smashing up other people's families like a drunk gorilla at IKEA. So I called in a favor. My old high school buddy Brian owns a towing company. He's the kind of guy who drinks motor oil for breakfast and would tackle a goose just for looking at him wrong. I said, Brian, you feel like getting a little petty? Brian grinned. Brother, I stay ready. Phase 1. Operation RPO Humiliation. We wait until a Saturday. Jessica and Travis are out having brunch. I know, because I still had access to her shared calendar. She never changed the password, bless her loyal little heart. While they're off sipping mimosas and pretending their relationship isn't built on deceit and discounted tequila, Brian rolls in with his tow truck, lifts Travis's brand new Mustang GT right out of the complex parking lot. Nice and legal, because Travis was parked in my assigned space. And oh look, I just happened to report it to management an hour earlier. By the time they got back, no car. No explanation, just Jessica standing in the parking lot in heels, yelling at nobody like a caffeinated banshee. Phase 2, social meltdown. Next, I printed off screenshots of Travis's text messages, the Bluetooth greatest hits, and slipped them, anonymously, into mailboxes at his workplace. Just a little light reading for his coworkers. Did I include the part where he called Jessica his sugar cake and talked about wanting to do things the neighbors would report? You bet I did. 2 days later, Travis was fired. Apparently, the dealership doesn't like scandals. Go figure. Phase 3, Alpha Reset. While Travis's life was falling apart like an off-brand lawn chair, I hit the gym. Twice a day. Stopped drinking. Clean eating. Focused. 3 weeks in, I already felt sharper, stronger, like I had taken all that betrayal and forged it into fuel. I upgraded my wardrobe. I took that raise I had been offered and used it to get my own place. No Jessica, no ghosts. But the piece de resistance? I invited all our mutual friends to a barbecue, told them it was a life update party. They showed up expecting a baby announcement or some big job move. I stood there, steak tongs in one hand, cold beer in the other, wearing a grin you could hang laundry on, and said, "Thanks for coming. Just wanted to let everyone know, Jessica cheated on me with a guy named Travis who looks like he gets lost inside Men's Warehouse. But don't worry, I'm good now. She lost a husband, I lost 25 pounds. And dead weight." The backyard erupted. Even her best friend nearly dropped her wine laughing. That night, I got a text from Jessica. "You're really gonna act like this?" I just sent her a photo of me with Brian, flexing in front of Travis's towed car, and replied, "Act? Sweetheart, I am like this." You ever play chess with someone who doesn't know they're losing until it's already checkmate? That was Jessica. While she and Travis were trying to duct tape their little affair into something resembling a relationship, I was 10 moves ahead, in a game she didn't even know we were playing. Phase 1, Financial Jiu-Jitsu. First, I called my lawyer, because if there's one thing betrayal taught me, it's that revenge is satisfying, but legal revenge is art. Now, when we married, we kept a joint account for bills and rent, nothing crazy. But I paid for the house, the car, and the fine. Jessica, she bought throw pillows and scented candles like she was curing world hunger. So, froze the joint account, with legal backing. Sold the couch she used to sneak Travis onto. Facebook Marketplace, $75. Some college dude bought it. May the spirit of betrayal haunt his Netflix binges. Moved all my valuables out of the house. By the time Jessica got the divorce papers, she was sitting on an air mattress surrounded by Live, Laugh, Love wall decals. I included a handwritten note. "You can keep the pillows. They always meant more to you than loyalty." Boom. Step 2, the double-backed trap. Here's where it gets beautiful. Jessica still thought she had the upper hand. I could tell from her texts, those long, dramatic messages where she took accountability but also blamed her unmet emotional needs. Classic. She wanted a civil resolution. She wanted closure. She wanted to split things fairly. She wanted, in short, to walk away clean. So I offered her a deal. I'd waive spousal support. Let her keep the apartment, the rented one, not my place. No public drama. She agreed, thought she won. But what she didn't know is that the car she'd been driving wasn't paid off, wasn't insured under her name, wasn't staying. It was repoed the day after our court date, on her birthday, outside a spa. Happy 30, sweetheart. Spy 3, the fallout letter. Now here's the psychological checkmate. I mailed her one final letter. Not angry, not cruel, just clarifying. It said, "Dear Jessica, I want to thank you. Not for your loyalty. You left that behind with your underwear at Travis's place. Not for your love. That evaporated the moment Bluetooth exposed your affair louder than your taste in reality TV. I want to thank you for freeing me, because I was loyal to someone who saw me as a stepping stone. And now, without you, I'm sprinting. Since you left, I've gotten a promotion. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I sleep better without the sound of hypocrisy snoring beside me. And Travis? He's unemployed, uninsured, and drives a 2006 Corolla that wheezes like an asthmatic goat. So, thank you for teaching me how to spot red flags disguised as red lipstick, for proving that love without respect is just emotional theft, and for showing me that when someone says, "You'll never do better than me," what they really mean is, "I hope you don't." You were a lesson, but I'm the graduation. Sincerely, the man you thought you could replace. Bonus karma. A friend told me Jessica tried dating again. Apparently Travis left after 2 months because, and I quote, "she kept comparing me to her ex. Said he had discipline, direction, and better calves." Damn right I do. It started with a text. "Jessica, hey, can we talk?" That was it. No hi, no hope you're well. Just a grenade with a fuse made of regret. I didn't reply. You know why? Because you don't text a man you betray like you're trying to reschedule a dentist appointment. 2 days later, she tried again. I made a mistake. I was halfway through a steak burrito and let out an actual laugh. One of those deep, from-the-gut laughs that makes strangers look at you like you finally snapped. 3 more texts came through over the next 24 hours. I didn't realize how good I had it. Travis isn't who I thought he was. I miss you. Well, 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 if it isn't the consequences of your own Bluetooth decisions. Still, I didn't respond, because I had a better idea. The dinner. Jessica showed up at my door a week later. Hair done, makeup fresh. That same red dress she used to wear when she wanted something. Probably figured it'd trigger nostalgia or a weak moment. Instead, it triggered the memory of her whispering "Travis" into her iPhone while I was out buying her tampons and kale chips. She held up a bottle of wine, the kind I used to like. Just talk, that's all I'm asking. Now, I'm not a cruel man. I'm not spiteful. But I am a fan of closure, on my terms. So I let her in. We sat. I poured the wine. She looked around the apartment like she expected to still see some trace of herself. But the place had changed. It was cleaner, sharper, leaner, like I'd shed 130 pounds of dead emotional weight. She finally spoke. I didn't know what I had until it was gone. I raised an eyebrow. You mean until it got repoed? She flinched. Good. Then she started the classic monologue. Travis wasn't who I thought. He doesn't work. He's insecure, controlling. He said he liked strong women, but when I started getting my confidence back, he got jealous. I felt trapped. She paused for dramatic effect. I sipped my wine like it was her tears. And you were always steady, strong, safe. You never made me feel small. I leaned back and said nothing. Let the silence marinate. I was stupid, she continued, tears welling up. I thought I wanted excitement, but I was chasing chaos. I ruined something real. I finally spoke. You didn't ruin something real. You just exposed what you really valued. She sniffled, trying to reach for my hand. I pulled it back like it was on fire. I don't hate you, Jess. I just see you clearly now. And you're not the storm. You're just the cloud that blocked the sun for a while. She broke, tears, shaking, pleading. Is there any chance? Now, here's where I could have said something dramatic, but I went simple. Not even a Bluetooth connection. She left with mascara streaks and the wine bottle half full, kinda like her promises. I watched her walk to her car, not the Mustang, of course. That one's long gone. She climbed into a beat-up sedan with a cracked windshield. The final insult? It wouldn't start. I stood in the doorway, arms crossed, watching her turn the key again and again. After a minute, I walked over. She looked up with a shred of hope. Can you help? I leaned in, tapped the roof of the car, and said, Should have picked a better ride, Jess. Story of your life. Then I turned around, walked back inside, and shut the door. So here we are. 3 months after the crawlback. She's gone. I'm thriving. My place looks like a GQ shoot and smells like ambition and protein powder. I'm seeing someone new. Emma. Sharp, grounded, no drama. The kind of woman who drinks black coffee and says things like, "Tell me when you've conquered something today." Life's calm, steady. Which is how I knew something stupid was about to happen. The setup. It started with a call from HR. Hey, Greg? There's a woman in the lobby asking to see you. She says it's urgent. Claims she's your wife? I nearly choked on my protein bar. Ex-wife, I said. Big difference. They asked if they should call security. I said, nah, let her in. I'm curious what this train wreck looks like today. She walks in, trying to look confident, but already sweating through her Forever 21 blouse. I haven't seen her this disheveled since the time her fake eyelashes caught fire at that New Year's party. She sits down in front of me. No greeting, just dives in. I'm pregnant. I stared at her like she just claimed she was the rightful heir to the Iron Throne. Whose? Yours. I blinked. Once. Slowly. Like a computer rebooting. Jessica, I haven't touched you since you were still Googling how to tell if your affair is toxic. She fidgeted. Eyes darted. The lie was already unraveling like a clearance rack sweater. Well, there's a small chance it's Travis's, but I think it's yours. We weren't. No, remember that one night I came over and you cried on my couch, drank my wine, and left. The only thing you left pregnant was the garbage can with your broken mascara wand. She paused, swallowed. Then she shifted to the next gear of the desperation mobile. Okay, maybe I'm not pregnant, but I'm late, and I've been under so much stress. And Emma? Really? She's so boring. She's not like me. I smiled. Exactly. She stood up, voice shaking, trying to play offense. You're not over me. You just think you are. I was the best thing that ever happened to you. And that's when I stood up. Jessica, the best thing you ever did for me was betray me. Because it showed me exactly who you are and exactly what I don't need. Her lip trembled. You think you're so righteous, so perfect. I leaned in. Nah, I just know what I'm worth now. And it's a hell of a lot more than a Bluetooth betrayal and a broke wannabe side dude named Travis. Security came in. I didn't even call them. Bless their timing. Jessica, defeated, marched toward the exit, tossing one last Hail Mary over her shoulder. "You'll regret this!" I called out after her, loud enough for the entire office lobby to hear. "Already did, sweetheart. That's why I filed for divorce." The door shut behind her. I sat back down, looked out the window at the city skyline, took a deep breath, and smiled. And fitting. It was exactly 3 years to the day since I met Jessica on that beach. Fitting, really. Back then, I saw her and thought, that's a woman I could build a life with. Now, I look back and think, that's a cautionary tale in lip gloss. Emma suggested a getaway. Nothing big. Just some quiet ocean breeze and time away from the noise. Ironically, we ended up just a few miles down the shore from where it all started. And that's where it happened. The setup. Bonfire. Sand beneath my boots. Emma wrapped in a hoodie and a blanket, sipping from a thermos of whiskey and hot cocoa. A few friends with us. People who'd been there through it all. Solid ones. We're laughing about something dumb, I said, when someone walks up. Of course, Jessica. Like a seagull at sunset. Uninvited, hungry, and unable to read social cues. She's not alone. Behind her? Travis. Except Travis doesn't look like the smug alpha he used to pretend to be. He looks like a man who's been living in a studio apartment with bad credit and worse lighting. Hair disheveled, shirt from 2017. The look of a man who tried to trade up and got swindled. I stand. Emma stays seated, calm, watching, trusting me like a queen who knows her king's got this. "Wow," Jessica says. "Didn't expect to see you here." I smile. I did. I was hoping fate would let me return the favor. "We just came to walk the beach," Travis mumbles, clearly wanting to be anywhere else. Jessica, on the other hand, is scanning the group like she's trying to find a way in. "I heard about your promotion," she says, voice trying to be sweet. "VP of Development now, huh?" I nod. "Yep, funny what betrayal can motivate." She chuckles like we're in on the same joke. We're not. "And this is Emma?" Emma smiles. "Hi, heard you're famous." Jessica's smile twitches. "Well, I just wanted to say I'm happy for you." Then she pauses. "No hard feelings?" That's when I knew what to do. I turned, picked up a small notebook from my bag, one I've been carrying for years. My Reminders of Reality book. The one with quotes, screenshots, thoughts from the bad days. Motivation in ink form. I flipped it open, tore out one page, a screenshot of her, Travis, cuff, text on Bluetooth, folded it, walked over to the bonfire, and threw it in. "No hard feelings," I said, as the flame ate her lie. Then I looked at Travis. "Hey man, I left a lot of broken furniture behind. Hope you brought tools." Emma laughed softly. Jessica's mouth opened, maybe to argue, maybe to cry, but nothing came out. "Goodbye, Jessica," I said. "You're officially no longer the villain in my story." She tried to reply, but Emma stood up. "Come on, babe. Fire's perfect tonight. Let's enjoy the life you built." We sat back down, hands intertwined, and the crackling fire danced around the ashes of my past. Behind me, I heard Jessica whisper, "Let's just go, Travis." Footsteps, silence. And just like that, Every thread was tied, every scar was closed. And the man I was, stronger, sharper, free. There's a moment after the storm when the air is still. No more chaos, no shouting, no Travis cuff echoing through Bluetooth speakers. Just silence. And in that silence, you start to see clearly. I sat on that same beach the morning after Jessica and Travis slinked away into whatever mess they now called a relationship. Emma was still asleep back at the cabin. It was just me, the ocean, and a coffee that tasted like closure. And I thought about this. How sometimes the people around you don't hate you. They just don't value you. Not really. They want your strength, but not too much of it. They want your support, but only as long as it keeps them comfortable. That was Jessica. She didn't hate me. She didn't wish me harm. She just needed me to stay beneath her, emotionally, financially, spiritually. Because when people like that feel you growing, they don't cheer. They panic. They sense it, that you're about to outgrow the space they built for you, that you're no longer content being the steady guy in the background of their story. And instead of growing with you, they start poking holes in your self-worth. Why don't you make more money?
Why are you always tired? Why aren't you more like insert imaginary man she saw on Instagram? I carried all that for years, thinking if I just work harder, if I just prove myself more, she'll see me. But the truth is, no amount of proving will ever be enough for someone who doesn't want you to win. And that's the real betrayal. Not the cheating, not even Travis. It's that she looked me dead in the eye, watched me give everything I had, and decided I was only useful as long as I stayed small. And you know what? I let her, for a while. Because when you're a man who loves hard and fights for his people, you don't see manipulation. You see opportunity. You see a broken person to fix, a partner to rescue. Until one day, you realize you're not in a partnership. You're in a cage with someone who keeps handing you the tools just to make sure you build it tighter. And when you finally break free, the air is different. Emma stirred that morning and found me sitting on the sand. She didn't ask what I was thinking. She didn't need to. She sat next to me, leaned into my shoulder, and said, "I hope you know you don't have to carry anyone ever again. Not like that." I nodded, not because I needed permission, but because I finally believed it.